Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. How are we all on this lovely morning? Today is a big day. It's probably the biggest day of Manchester United's season so far. Tonight, we go away to Lyon, and it's not must win because we still have a second leg next week, but it certainly feels like we must not be out of the tie tonight. This is Manchester United's biggest game of the season so far. It's a must-win game in a way, right? Is it? Is it must win? I don't know. But we need some sort of result, right? That's very obvious. We need some sort of result. So our job today is to come up with a starting 11 that we feel can beat Lyon, and also just to discuss everything Manchester United at the moment, because we haven't caught up for a bit, to discuss certain players, the form, but how basically can we win this game. Now, we did a video on the channel yesterday, something a little bit different, doing a preview of Lyon, looking at tactically how they set up, some of the things they're really good at, some of the areas where they're strong, but also some of their weaknesses as well. So you guys may already have a bit of an understanding of what Lyon are going to do, and I think that's good because it prepares us to go through this. Now, currently on the screen, what we have is the Manchester United starting 11 from the game at the weekend against Manchester City. However, there is no guarantees that it will be the same 11 again. So I think what we need to do today is rip it up, start again, and figure out an 11 to win this match. Before we get into any of that though, guys, get in the chat down below and let me know how you are doing. Who we got in the chat? We got Alex, we got Steve, we got a load of regulars in the chat straight away. It's good to see you all. Hope you're all well. Hope you are all well. This is the first time we've spoken since the City game, right? Feels like it's been, weirdly, a bit of a quiet week considering it's such an important game. I personally don't feel like the United fan base has really been buzzing ahead of this game. Perhaps it's because the Manchester derby was a little bit flat, although I still think we should have won the game, to be honest. Maybe if we had won that, the vibe would be a little bit different right now. But still, I'm excited for this game. I am excited. And weirdly, what I'm looking forward to with this game is being nervous. You know, I think as United fans, we've been a little bit disconnected from the team this season, you know, because for a while now, we haven't really had anything to play for out of the cup competitions, out of any sort of competition in the league. We haven't had that feeling of sitting there on the edge of your seat, desperate for a result, absolutely desperate for your team to score. So I'm sort of looking forward to having that bit of jeopardy, on the game. I am looking forward to that. I just rewatched the City game. I'm less annoyed with it the second time around. It's always a good idea, if you've got the time, to watch the match a second time, because when you watch it the second time, you take the emotion out. When you watch it live, you're angry at your players, and then you're celebrating, and then you're shouting at the ref. There's a lot of emotion involved. If you can watch it a second time in a calmer manner, where you know the result, I think it makes it a little bit easier to actually get sort of like a balanced assessment of what truly happened on the pitch. Matt, good morning to you. I don't comment much, but I watch frequently. Love the content. Keep it up, mate. Come on, United. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much for your support on the channel. Jeopardy and Needle, it's that part of the season. It's what we live for, right? It's either going to kill us all as a fan base, or it's what makes the whole season worth it. These moments. 4 a.m. kickoff Friday morning here in Japan. United better not let me down. For your sake, mate, I really hope they don't let you down, because 4 a.m. on a Friday morning is mental. I love the heat, by the way, between Onana and Matic. I mean, that kind of takes us on quite nicely, right? Should we start there in goal? Should we take the United players out of the team real quick, just to sort of move on from the City game, if you like? Let's take all these United players out and let's rebuild the team. And of course, the first conversation is going to be in goal, where, you know, normally in league games and things like that, we would be talking, it's definitely Onana. Do we have someone else that could come in for this game? You know, it is a cup competition. We do naturally see rotation in cup competitions. And also, of course, there is the whole Onana and the Manu Matic situation. I would love to hear your thoughts on that in the chat. What are your thoughts on Onana's comment initially, sort of, you know, saying that Lyon are a good team, but then going, I think United are better. And then from the gist of it that I've got, Matic then goes, you're one of the worst keepers in United history, mate. Which, fair play, taking a shot at someone, I guess. And then Onana sort of responds by going, I've won trophies, mate. I've won trophies. It's a weird one. Do you care, is my question. Do you care about any of that? Or is it sort of irrelevant to you? Is it sort of irrelevant? I like to see a little bit of beef between players. I think at times football has become, I don't know, a little bit too friendly. Certain rivalries, certain derbies are a bit too nicey nice. I want to see some players that want to fight each other. So I like it. The Champions League football has been breathtaking. Arsenal, Barcelona and PSG lit it up. Yeah, I haven't actually seen anything of the Inter versus Bayern game the other night, but I've seen bits of the rest of them. And I mean, the quality in the Champions League is an absolute joke. I was talking about this in the Discord last night. The quality of front threes in the Champions League and across Europe compared to the Premier League is insane. I think the floor has come up in the Premier League. I think the worst teams are better than they were before. But I think at the top, across Europe, there's much better than what we've got in England. If you look at like the Arsenal front three, for example, Bukayo Saka's the elite one. At Liverpool, Salah is the elite one. At City, Haaland. Whereas you go to like a PSG, there's 4 of them. Barcelona have got 3 or 4. Bayern, Real Madrid obviously have about 100 of them. The quality is insane. If you are interested in Champions League football, have a look on my second channel. It's called AJ Talks Tactics. David has just linked it in the chat, so let me quickly pin that message at the top of the chat, completely free. Go have a look. I covered the Barcelona versus Dortmund game this morning, which was a bit of a rush to then get this stream sorted. But also, I did feature on the Football Terrace Extras channel this week with coverage of Arsenal versus Real Madrid, because wow, how good were Arsenal the other night. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Declan Rice. Those free kicks. Insane. Insane. Anyway, Manchester United. Manchester United, that's the topic of today's stream. It's United's biggest day of the season. Let's talk about United rather than being jealous of other teams across Europe. In goal, is it Onana? Someone said that Amorim has already confirmed that Onana will play. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't actually seen any of Amorim's quotes yet. The media has taken some words out of context and then blown up the Onana Matic thing. I mean, it's what the media do, isn't it? Am I part of the media now? Am I included in that? But yeah, that's what the world does, right? Takes a snippet, makes it this massive thing, makes it a headline. Cool, we've got clicks. You know, that's what happens a little bit. AJ, I was watching your Barcelona game, but then I was rudely interrupted by your live stream. I do apologise. Yeah, it's been a bit... it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week. Bobby the Bob. Bob, good morning. How are you, mate? How are you? So it is Onana. Okay. I was expecting it to be Onana anyway. Next question. The back three. Now, to be fair, in this position, because we've got those uncertainties around the lead, it doesn't look like he's going to be available. So, we've got Harry Maguire. We've got... where is he? I always lose my players. I'm so bad at this. Mazraoui, and we've also got Lenny Yoro. Now, I'll be honest, unless you want to throw Lindelof into the conversation as well, to me, like, this is quite an easy conversation to have in terms of who starts in the back line, because we don't have too many options right now. De Ligt out, Lissandro Martinez out, Aiden Heaven out. There's not too many to choose from, so I think this will be fairly straightforward. Hopefully, the midfield is where we can start to have a few more conversations about balance, about profiles. Yeah, so does anyone have any issues with that back three? Like, it's that back three. The only question for me, and I want you guys to decide this basically, is Yoro and Mazraoui, what way round would you go with them? Now, the problem we do have here is Lyon are a little bit unpredictable. We don't know what they're going to do. I predicted yesterday that I think Cherki will play wider. He'll still move inside. But I think he'll start wider just so they can get more physicality and experience in the middle. But there's a chance they don't do that. Tolisso comes out of the team and they get more of an attacking player. And that would be a more attacking setup. But let's assume it's Cherki on the wing for now. Who would you be looking to put up against him? Because let's be sort of just call a spade here, right? Cherki's the best Lyon player. He's amazing. He's immense. He's such a good footballer. Is my door closed? It is. Sorry, I can hear people coming in the house. Yeah, who would you put up against Cherki? Obviously, Yoro physically has got a bit more to him. Mazraoui has the natural fullback instincts. By the way, guys, if you are having trouble with the stream, I do apologise. It seems like I'm just looking at the frame rate. Everything is okay on my end. If you are having problems or you get booted or anything like that, refresh your stream or close it and come back in. YouTube just does this sometimes. I'm not really sure why. So yeah, if that happens and you can hear me right now, just leave and come back in. Anyway, the conversation that we were trying to have was, let me make a poll. Let's go. Who goes against Ugarte? I already got it in the chat. Who goes against Turkey? And we've got Mazraoui. Can you hear me when I type? Hi, gents and AJ. Good morning, mate. How are you? How are you doing? And how are you feeling about the game? It's a big one. It's a big one. There you go. Should now be in the chat if I've done it properly. Who goes against Turkey, Mazraoui or Yoro? So basically, who plays Turkey's side? Who do we try and stop him with? Mazraoui is an intelligent footballer. He can handle Turkey. Again, obviously, he has the experience as well of playing in big games, which Yoro perhaps doesn't possess. Mazraoui has more experience, so I'd go with him against Turkey. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair, 100%. Mazraoui, no doubt. Is that because you think Mazraoui is the better option to deal with Turkey, or because you want to see Yoro on the left? Because that is obviously the other conversation to have here as well. Stream is good on my laptop, but looped on my phone. Is that the problem? Is it phones sometimes? Oh, we've also got David in the chat. I completely missed this because of the stream issue. We have a gifted membership. David, thank you very much, as always, for your support, mate. Hope you have been well over the past few days. I feel like I haven't spoke to you very much recently, actually. Need to change that. But yeah, hope you're well, mate. Lovely to see you, as always. And thank you very much for the gifted membership. Guys, you know what to do. That chat should be full of green love hearts for David. Or some stars, or some W's, or anything like that. Ooh, this is a really interesting point from Alex. I'd put Yoro versus Turkey. Hasn't he faced him before? Yoro did, of course, come up from Lille in the French league, so it is highly likely he's come up against Turkey before. Maybe that's something to consider. Mazraoui has the positional intelligence to cancel out Turkey. Yeah, I mean, the good thing here, and let's really hope this doesn't come back to bite me, the good thing here is, you know, Turkey isn't physically the blessed player, so sometimes we will look at a winger and go, oh my god, that's so quick, or that's so powerful that, like, physically we couldn't stop them even if we wanted to. Sometimes we have that sort of thing. That's not the case with Turkey. Turkey shouldn't be someone that physically overwhelms a Yoro or a Mazraoui, or is too quick for someone like Yoro, for example. So that plays into our hands just a little bit, but obviously technically he's immense, which is a problem. Mazraoui's experience will help him deal with him, otherwise Turkey is more than capable of dancing in circles in between the defence and the midfield. The other thing to consider here, and this is the point I want to come on to, is it's not necessarily purely about who do you want to deal with him out here in a channel, 1v1 out wide. It's not just about that, because what Turkey will often do is move a little bit more inside the pitch. I spoke about this yesterday. Lyon are quite a fluid team, quite rotational. They move into different zones, and we'll often see Tagliafico come further forward down the left. So Turkey may start wide, but he may move into these positions. Now we've got to consider, let's just for a moment throw Diogo Dalot into the team at wing back. What we do need to consider also is who's better at stepping out and doing that. Is it Yoro or is it Mazraoui? Particularly on this size. I don't know. At least Turkey doesn't have the burst of speed. Yeah, I agree. Regarding Yoro/Mazraoui versus Turkey, doesn't it also matter who plays in midfield and who tracks back? I'm guessing Dalot will play right wing back. Yeah, again, like I said, Turkey is likely to drift. He is likely to drift. He's not a player who's going to hug the touchline and just play out here and get chalk on his boots all night. He's not that sort of player. He does want to move into these areas more. So that's what I mean. It's not necessarily about the 1v1. We need to consider who can connect from defence and come out here. Who can track him in midfield? Is it an Ugarte? Is it a Casemiro? Is Bruno enough? These are things we need to consider. The poll, though, is Mazraoui. And I'm not surprised, to be honest. I think that's reasonable. The more experienced player, naturally a better wide defender for those situations because he is, of course, a fullback. That makes a lot of sense. So Mazraoui comes on the right and Yoro goes to the left. Now, what was I going to say? We also need to remember we might get a spanner and lob it into the works because Turkey could just play as a 10. which changes things, because then there's the risk that he could pick up the ball and isolate and run at Maguire. This man's twisting, turning, creativity, agility up against Maguire may be a bit of a problem, but I think he'll play from wide and come in. We need to physically bully Cherki. Yeah, maybe if you can overwhelm him a little bit with numbers as well. There's maybe the difference in experience in Mazraoui's favour. On the other hand, Yoro is a true athlete already. I love Yoro. Last two performances, so good, so good. Don't want to put too much pressure on him yet, but if we can just keep letting him build him. There's such a good young centre-back there. I love Yoro. Anyway, should we go wing-backs next? Because I think this is a fairly boring conversation in terms of the 11. Then we can eventually figure out how it's set up later on and how it actually play out. The wing-backs is fairly straightforward, right? Unless Amorim puts a massive curveball in, like sort of like curve on a Declan Rice free kick. It's going to be Dalot and Dorgu, isn't it? Where on earth is Dorgu? There he is. Here he is. I really need a system, or like I need to organise this better so I can see where the players are. It's Dorgu and Dalot, right? It's simple as that. 95% of you haven't watched Lyon this season. You're riding the Cherki hype based on YouTube comps and second-hand opinions. He's talented, no doubt, but let's not pretend he's world-class. I don't think he's world-class in every part of the game, but I think his pure creativity is right up there. Right up there. I worry about Almada and Tolisso too. They have weapons. Yeah, whilst Cherki is their biggest threat, they certainly have other good players that can hurt us as well. They certainly have some nice players. I do just think there is potentially a lack of pure, raw speed and power a little bit. A little bit. Anyway, I think the wing-backs pick themselves, like David has said there. So, just to skip over that. Interesting conversation time, and probably the most important one, midfield. Now, what we saw the other day was Casemiro playing, and I believe he completed 11 out of 11 tackles against Manchester City, which is insane for any player against any team. But to do it against City at his age, impressive. He had Ugarte next to him. What did we make of Ugarte's performance? Good without being overwhelming, right, I guess. You know, he done his job. We lost a little bit of intensity, I think, when he came off. We lost that ability to quickly sort of win the ball back and counter when he came off. So maybe that's something to consider. Bruno Fernandes was the one in that game that went a little bit deeper, and I've now got to find Bruno. No, that's Sandro Martinez. Here he is, Bruno. And probably the only other one is Christian Eriksen. Normally we would have Collier to bring into this, but he is, of course, out of the team with injury at the moment. Normally Kobbie Mainoo would come into this conversation, but I don't see him being rushed back this quick. And the other one may be Mason Mount. But again, in terms of his fitness, considering he hasn't started a game yet, I don't see him starting, especially in midfield, because there's kind of been no signs recently that he'll play here. He seems to be more of an attacking player. Although, I do just quickly need to write him down for a little bit later on in the stream, because he is going to come into the conversation. What do we reckon? His on-the-ball ability is world-class. I assume you're talking about Cherki here. All except for shooting, which can improve, but his weight of pass, dribbling, bag of tricks, oh my, he is special. He is what we call a 360-degree player. Someone that can play at every angle, which is why I like him quite a lot. I'm going to, criticise you, AJ, on the new board of tactics you're using. I wish you could put names on it and other appealing graphics. Yeah, there is the plan at some point to introduce better graphics to that. I'm very much a one-man team on the channel in terms of everything, and I cannot tell you the time that has been put into the channel recently without really the reward for it, because United fans aren't interested at the moment. I'm doing work for other channels. We've got the second channel as well. I'm trying to stream. It's been quite tough recently. I'm trying my best, but there will be upgrades at some point. And yeah, I would like to do something to make the names a little bit clearer. I didn't do it for yesterday's video because I didn't feel it was important, because we were focusing more on Lyon. But yeah, we do need to add to it, of course, and I will look to do that at some point. I will look to do it. Will it be a box 4 from United, 2 central midfielders and 2 cams versus a Lyon 3? Outnumbering Lyon will be important in keeping the game tight and compact in the mid-block. What if the mid-block? AJ, you said we need pace up front, so why not Garnacho? Yeah, we'll come on to the front three shortly. I just want to focus on literally the midfield two here for one moment. We'll just focus on that to start off with. I would still want a physical option with Casemiro and Ugarte rather than Bruno today. Just dominate the game physically and build on. I think we saw against Real Sociedad in the Europa League in the last round the difference when United physically are the better team. It doesn't happen very often at all, particularly in the Premier League. We've seen in the Europa League a couple of glimpses of United physically being the better team and sort of how much pressure that takes off us, right? It just takes a bit of pressure off us. It makes life a little bit easier. A little bit easier. If we can try and do that again in this game, if we can sort of platform ourselves physically, we might have that advantage again. I said it the other day. Lyon are not the most physical. Off the ball, I think they're quite poor. I think the structure is passive in itself, and I think the individuals within it are lacking a little bit. Lacazette, again, not the most intense. Cherky, not the most intense. Almada, not the most physical. Matic, he's not quite as mobile as he once was, and he was never exactly a road runner, was he? Although, what a player at his best, by the way. Nemanja Matic, phenomenal footballer at his best, but he's not at his best anymore, and he's not someone that can sort of cover a lot of ground. It's why I think Tolisso will come into the team. I love the new setup with the videos. Anything to let AJ have less FaceTime. Actual facts. But yeah, we're trying to upgrade it. I am requesting for your WhatsApp number or email address. My email address should be on the channel. If you go to the... what's it called? Is it like the About section on my YouTube channel? It should be there. I would have put Mount and Xerxes with Bruno as a false 9. Yeah, we'll come on to that shortly. Matic is old right now, and he's not getting any younger. Tessman is the main physical threat they have. Yeah, he's quite good. He's tall, strong, quite broad frame, long legs. Nice. He's nice in midfield. He does up their physicality. What do we reckon here then? What are the traits that we need? What are the traits that we need to be aiming for in this team? Now, if you guys watched a video that I did yesterday, you'll know roughly how Lyon approached the game defensively and how I think there are certainly weaknesses in the system. So what profile of player, I guess is the question, would you be looking to use to try and get at them? What would you be doing? Matic about to take 4 shots from 30 yards out today. What way is it going to go, right? It's either going to go Matic Screamer, Onana world-class performance, or Onana Howler. It's one of those, right? It's one of those. I'm not seeing your email address anywhere, bro. Can you message me on Discord, please, sir? The Discord is linked at the top of the chat. Please and thank you. We should be getting our athletes up front then. The Garnachos, the Brunos, the Højlunds, the Dorgus. I agree. I would be looking for pace in the front line to basically stretch these players a little bit further back and open up this area here. The question is, who are the options for us? Now, like I said yesterday, Lyon sort of defend 4-2-4. There's space here and there's space here. But weirdly, that opens up the middle of the pitch because these two get a little bit worried. So I think what United should try and do is get a midfield blend that, of course, has the physical traits that we need, the defensive awareness. You know, this is a tough game away from home. We do need players that can defend in there. We probably shouldn't go for Eriksen and Bruno, for example. But we do need players who can take the ball. I think a player playing deep in midfield with a good passing range is something that I would be looking for. Now, that could be Casemiro. He's quite a good progressive passer. That could be Bruno. Can it be Ugarte? I think in his career he can become this player which particularly uses his longer range of passing. But at the moment, we're not seeing it too much. But I would like the idea of one of them getting on the ball in these areas. I think this might be a game for United to move into a sort of diamond. With the, of course, inside forwards playing a part in that as well. The only pace we have is Garnacho and Højlund. Yeah, I think that's fair. We need pace, definitely. I prefer Casemiro and Ugarte. Oh, Casemiro and Bruno will start, but I would prefer Casemiro and Ugarte. I would keep Bruno deep and Xerxes and Mount as the two 10s. Could this be a game that suits Højlund? I think it could. I think it could. Or play Mazraoui as a 6, Dalot right centre-back, and Garnacho wing-back. David, I respect it. You will not let that die. I respect it. Will he ever play there again? He played in a 10 this season, didn't he? That seems a lifetime ago. That seems a lifetime ago to me. Anyway, there is an argument for getting Bruno in this deeper position. There is a real argument for it. Potentially next to Casemiro. And then could you have Xerxes from your front line dropping him? Ooh, I'm not sure. These Lyon blokes rotate a lot. If we are aggressive in our own half, we can force counterattacks 100%. 100%. Love your content. You're so insightful. Please keep up the great work, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the kind words. That means a lot. Like I said, recently, it's been quite stressful. I'm not a person that gets stressed these days, but I have been in the past 3 weeks, I would say. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Do you think we should go for another left wing back in the summer so we have backup for Dorgu? I don't know if we have to sign a left wing back. I think we need a wing back. I think we need a wing back in the summer. So it could be a right wing back. And for example, you have New Player and Ahmad are your 2 right wing backs, and Dalot can go to the left. Or if you want to keep Dalot as depth on the right, then you need a new left wing back. I just think we need a left wing or a wing back of some description. I'm not too fussed at the moment on exactly what side it happens. I'd maybe lean towards the right side. I don't know. It depends what you think of Ahmad, really. And yeah, we've got Diego Lyon to come in as well, haven't we? Although, is he going to be straight into the first team? I'm not sure. Bruno in the 8 is good for this game. Should we do a poll on this? And what's the best way to structure the poll? Basically, what we need, let's just get to this. We need minimum one of the midfielders, it doesn't have to be both, but one of them who can pull into this sort of outside space. We need someone that can exploit that. We also need someone that can play deep in these phases at times. We need the intensity off the ball to sort of overwhelm Lyon where possible. What 2 would you go with? What 2 would you go with? Superior long ball passing could easily be ours. I think it's something that we need. Let's, in the chat, stop for a second. Give me 2 midfielders. Who would you go for in here? Because if you go with Garte and Casemiro, you get that extra defensive ability. But do you really have the ball progression that you want? Do you have enough of it? Casemiro obviously brings some. But does he bring enough? Like alone, if he's the only progressive. Because Ugarte is not particularly progressive at the moment. You could play Bruno deeper. But I just fell off my chair there. You could play Bruno deeper. But then do we lose something in the final third? Is Bruno deeper something that you do away from home in a big European game? Trying to think what I would do as well, because I haven't really given this too much thought. Trying to think about the forward options we've got as well, who I might like to see in the team. I think I might go Casemiro and Bruno. I might go for those 2. Several of you guys are saying Ugarte and Bruno. Casemiro, Bruno, Ugarte, Bruno, Bruno, Ugarte, Ugarte, Bruno. Ugarte, it's why we bought him. Use him. Yeah, fair enough. It probably is these sort of games that he was bought in for. You know, those ones where you want to be a little bit more scrappy at times. I just like the idea of United trying to control the ball in this game and then having those difference makers in midfield, the problem solvers. I don't see Ugarte as a problem solver on the ball. Off the ball he is to an extent, but I don't think on the ball he is. I want those players that can solve problems themselves, and I think Casemiro and Bruno bring that. But I do also see the Ugarte argument. I just think if we're talking, knockout football, it's about moments. And I think Casemiro is perhaps more likely to give you a moment than Ugarte. Set pieces, I think Casemiro is a bigger threat. I think Casemiro is just in slightly better form than Ugarte at the moment as well. Ugarte not really seeing many full 90-minute matches. But if you go for Ugarte, you do get more bite. You do get that grit, that determination, that snappiness, which you kind of need as well. Bruno and Ugarte are defensively the same. Ugarte is committing too much into the tackles. Yeah, I think he needs to slow down sometimes. If it's about control, then Eriksen, Mount, and Xerxes provide that in front of Bruno and Casemiro. It's a weird one for me. I think we need control of possession for me. That's my view, that the team that has the ball in this game will do well. I think if Lyon dominate, they've got the tools to unlock our block, even when it's 5-3-2 and deep and compact. I think they've got the tools to hurt us more than City did the other day. So I think United need to keep a good amount of the ball. But I'm not necessarily talking about like 65% of the ball just passing it sideways. I think more than anything, we need to be crisp when we've got it, but still try and move at speed. It's why I like the idea of a quick attack, to pin the opposition, to give those midfielders a bit more room to sort of do their thing. David would go for Ugarte and Casemiro. In my opinion, Casemiro can progress the ball or pass the ball towards either side of the field to the wing-backs. I think we're downplaying Casemiro's ability to progress against a less intense team. But yeah, I certainly believe in Casemiro's progressive ability. It's just whether I believe in it enough if Ugarte is his partner. Although, having said that, right, at the same time, United don't have to win tonight. You've got to be clever away from home in Europe. You've got to kill the crowd a little bit as well. Not literally, you'd probably go to prison. But sort of take the energy out of the stadium a little bit. That's something that United will look to do, to take the sting out of the game at times. What players can bring that for us? We need a midfielder who's good on the ball in the summer. It would be nice. It would be nice. Play Ugarte in a 10 and make him press their pivots. The problem would then come on the ball. Does he give you enough in that high position? Probably not. I agree, Casemiro and Bruno, Ugarte to come in later to tighten things up defensively. That is what I was thinking when we were then discussing it. I was talking about Ugarte, the bite he brings if he plays. Is there a positive or an argument for starting with Casemiro and Bruno, and then 30 minutes to go, you get your mad dog on the pitch for the last 30, where he's going to be fresher than everyone else, where he's going to have more energy than everyone else? Is there an argument for that? Casemiro and Ugarte to protect the back three and come away with a draw will be perfect. Our pressing against Sociedad was good. I've missed that after the break. I expect better pressing today. Yeah, I think it's been a step backwards in the past couple of games. Perhaps the international break disrupted our rhythm. Maybe it's the opposition we've played. But yeah, I do think we've lost something a little bit in the press. I think we'd got to a moment where we were quite good, particularly on resets. I think we've lost that a little bit in the last couple. Our 5-4-1 defended well against Liverpool. No way we're losing to Lyon if we sit back. Decent idea away from home as well. It depends sort of how okay you are with the draw, I think, is what plays into it as well. Mount has to play. Do we need to... We need to do a poll. I'm just trying to figure out how on earth we do it. Because I don't want to just put 4 and then take the top 2, because those percentages are going to be skewed. Okay, question 1. Question 1. Oh, why double pivot against a 36-year-old Matic? I would like to see United on the front foot tonight. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a poll. The first one is, where should Bruno Fernandes play? And it's going to be central midfield, or I'll label it as 10, inside forward, winger, whatever you want to call it. Central midfield, 10. Because that will then help us with figuring out the rest. If we vote him into midfield, then we can do a poll on his partner. I think we got there. Hi AJ, watching all the way from Pakistan. Welcome to the stream, my friend. What time of day is it for you at the moment? I find that so cool when we find out we've got people from literally across the world, all walks of life, all different cultures. Just like, we're all humans. We're all so similar, but we're also different with how we live our lives as well. And I find it cool that football is something that can sort of bring everyone into one place. I think it's amazing. Wouldn't it be better to have Casemiro come on later against tired legs instead of Ugarte? Yeah, there's also that argument. Yeah, there's so many different ways you can sort of flip this. What about Kobbie Mainoo? I don't think he's going to be put into the 11. The one quote I did see from Amorim yesterday was that he's got to be careful with Mainoo. He's probably not ready to start yet. I could see him on the bench, but I don't think he'll play. We've got people from Ethiopia, from Sweden, 3:30 in the afternoon in Pakistan right now. People from Malaysia. It's so cool. Everywhere. People from around the world. I want to travel the world. That's what I need to do. I need to just get out and travel the world. You play Bruno in central midfield to be our conductor, like against Sociedad. I quite like the idea of that personally. There's another message. Best form of defense is attack. That's a saying. I haven't heard someone say that in a long time. I used to love that saying. We need Bruno back, not this watered down version of him. So you'd put him higher or lower? 10 or centre mid? Garnacho as an impact sub makes sense versus tired legs. That's what I mean. There's so many players that like. We've got a few nice bench players, but we also need someone to start. Like at the moment, we've got 8 subs lined up, but we haven't got any starters. What's the poll saying? The poll's saying centre mid. Callum, your typing is smashing there, mate. Absolutely nailed it. That's what I mean. People from all around the world. Literally, someone's watching from there. Just the other side of that wall. Weird, right? People from everywhere. It's a small world. Anyway, you guys have voted Bruno Fernandes to play midfield, which now makes the poll a little bit easier. Because we can now go Bruno's... Oh, I've typed it in all caps. That's heartbreaking. Yeah, Callum got there eventually, right? He was struggling. Bruno's midfield partner. And it's Casemiro or Ugarte, isn't it? I think it's as simple as that. I don't see Eriksen playing in a double pivot away from home in Europe. That sounds crazy. So, Casemiro or Ugarte in the chat. It's going to... Any second? Now. There we go. There we go. Get involved in the poll. Completely free to do, and it lets us know your opinion. As a United fan, you can have your say by pressing that poll. And it's free. Can you guys hear that squeak of the arm of my chair or not? Can you hear that? Because it's doing my head in. It's doing my head in. Bruno needs to play as a 10. We desperately need goals, and he's a reliable source. That's the argument I was making last week. We did that Bruno Fernandes video, which flopped in terms of views, and I was a little bit brokenhearted. But hopefully you did watch it, did enjoy it. And there's that conversation of when you get Bruno deep, you get that long-range passing, you get the dictating play, ball progression. But when you get him up here, he just scores goals. You can hear that. That is jarring, isn't it? Have you been hearing that whole stream? Yeah. Enjoy. Ugarte has to play, in my opinion. He will run like a mad dog, and we don't have enough of those physical players. Yeah, I think that's fair. I do get it. I do get it. We need good legs to start to take the brunt off the initial energy. Is everyone now complaining about the chair? I'm sorry, guys. Ugarte to bully Cherky. He probably would be suited to that sort of role. I've lost him again. There is also the argument with Ugarte of I think he's experiencing what a lot of players experience, that when you move to a new league, it's quite difficult. European football is something he is used to. It is something that he has been playing all his career, so it's not like a new tempo for him. So that may suit him more. Did that make any sense what I just said? I was reading a comment halfway through. I apologise. Basically, Ugarte has played European football his whole career. Maybe he'll be better in this competition than the Premier League, is what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. Bird box is bought. Pond nearly ready to go. I don't even know what I've just read, but I love it. Who doesn't love a bit of wildlife, by the way? Who doesn't love a little bit of wildlife? Just the scenery. The birds tweeting in the background. Beautiful. I can't hear your chair. We need a poll. Squeaky chair versus Barking Buster and Loki. They've been quite good today, to be fair, haven't they? This poll is close, by the way, guys. So if you do have an opinion, which would be nice as a football fan, vote in that poll. Currently, Casemiro leads it, which means Ugarte will not be in our starting 11 currently. Do you agree with that? If you don't, vote, 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 vote. Vote. Even if you do agree, vote. Casemiro and Ugarte start for me. This is the first leg away, so I'd rather be 0-0 than 2 or 3. Yeah, I do completely get that. It might be a different conversation at Old Trafford next week, but I do understand that argument of away from home, don't be out of the tie tonight, basically. We're here talking about United. Nothing can be more jarring. So true. I can squeak that chair all I want. Ugarte is also familiar with France and maybe played against Lyon for PSG. That's a really good point as well. We desperately need goals. I'm sick of putting 500 players at the back and 2 up front. Yeah. Yeah. I want to see attackers on the pitch. That drove me insane against Manchester City. Insane. Like, almost removing the fact that I'm a Manchester United fan. Just watching or seeing the lineups released of United and City, 2 of the biggest teams in world football, and 2 of the biggest teams in England, of course. And there's no one there who wants to go 1v1. Who was it? I can't remember now. Bruno played higher, not a winger. Dalot, Dorgu, not wingers. Garnacho, a winger to be fair. And then for City, you had Foden, who's not a winger. You had Bernardo Silva, who's not a winger. Marmoush, who isn't a traditional winger, he's a bit more of an inside forward. There was just a lack of players that wanted to get the ball, dribble, and attack people. And I want to see that back in football. It's not going to happen for United tonight just because we don't have the squad for it. As you've just pointed out in the chat there, we don't have the players for it. But watching the Champions League this week, watching the way that those elite, they are the best of the best, but the way they take the ball, the way they dribble, they commit defenders, then they release it, and then they get on the second pass, they're playing the 1-2s around the box. It's so much fun to watch, and I want to watch it. I want my club to do that. It's going to take time for us to get there, obviously. This competition can help. If we can win this, it perhaps, well, it obviously gives us more money in the market, but maybe a bit more pull with transfers as well. But I want to see those players. I want to watch ballers ball out on a football pitch. Good morning, Chad. How are you, mate? How are your lungs doing? Pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, they're kind of doing lung things. They're breathing and stuff, so it's quite cool. How about yours, mate? How are your lungs? What attackers? We have none of them. Yeah, that's kind of the problem, right? If any one of our players tried what Kavici did yesterday, they'll destroy their knees. The Champions League's been good this week. It's been very good. But as a United fan, it's just sort of really pointed out how far away we are, even though we knew we were. Anyway, Casemiro has won the poll to be Bruno Fernandes's midfield partner. So Ugarte comes out of the team. Ugarte not playing. It's a big call. It's a big call. What way round do you go with the 2? I'd probably go like that, perhaps. Casemiro to help with Cherky? I reckon so. Anyway, time for the front 3. Name the ballers in the current team. Yeah, that's the problem, mate. That's the problem. We lack them. I want to see ballers. In a couple of seasons, maybe we'll see ballers. Not just yet. Time for the front 3, though, because we do have some good players as well, right? Of course. Who can we get in this front 3 for United this evening? We've got Højlund. Could play up front. Stretch. Use his pace. Drag that Lyon defence back. Could do that. Garnacho is someone who could offer something similar. Dribbling ability, pace, threat, decision-making drives us up the wall, but he's always a threat. You always notice him, and that in itself is a skill. We've also got Xerxes, who perhaps brings a bit more technical quality, a bit more ball retention, linking play. And I also think, if I can find him... Oh, actually, there's 2 more players. We've got Christian Eriksen, who doesn't necessarily sort of stretch in behind the opposition, but he can come towards the ball. He could overload the midfield for us, give us that third option. He's got passing. He's going to keep the ball. So if we are going for control, retention, he is an option. Mason Mount. Is he ready? Is he ready? Now, there should be a video up on the channel this afternoon looking at Mason Mount, his best position under Ruben Amorim, and why I think Amorim loves him so much. It was recorded a few days ago, but I'm hoping to get it out this afternoon, providing I can edit it in time. We'll see. Yeah, but Chad, you didn't answer my question, mate. You dodged it there. I think that's even weirder. Suspect. Xerxes has to start tonight, in my opinion. The question is where? What was it the weekend where he didn't start against City? Yeah, it was. And it was weird not to see Xerxes in the starting 11. At the start of the season, that wouldn't have been that big a deal, but like, it was weird not seeing him start the match. He played a lot of football recently. It's weird not to see him in the team. I think he might come back in tonight. I think he might. Mount for the bench. Left 10 is the best position for Mount. I think he can do a job on the right as well. I think he can do a job on the right. Anyway. Front three. We've got options, by the way, which is the first thing to talk about. Lovely. We've got players to choose from. That doesn't happen very often. Now we've got to pick 3 of them out of the 5. So what do we reckon, guys? Get cooking in the chat. Xerxes is starting tonight, says Simon. Good morning, Simon, mate. Hope you're well. I think he'll play. Exactly, AJ. Amarim's rested him on the weekend, surely for starting tonight. Yes, it's always difficult to know, isn't it? Is a player dropped because they're not performing well? Are they rested because there's a big game coming up? Are they tactically rotated? You know, different profile of player. It's always difficult. It's always difficult to know. Mount starting tonight would be amazing. I think he complements the system so well. He complements the system so well. Do a poll? I will. We need to figure out a couple of things first, though, because I can only have so many options in a poll, and I want to make sure the polls are as fair as possible. Xerxes, Mount, and help needed. I'd get a runner as the other one, and we might have something there. Should we start off with a striker? Because that's a fairly, 50-50 straight shootout, Hoyland or Xerxes. And then from there, we can figure out the inside forwards. Now, let's make something very clear before I upload the poll, because I want to make it just obvious. This isn't who's the better player. It's not even strictly who should start the football match. It's who should start as the striker. So you might vote for Hoyland here, for example, but Xerxes can still go somewhere else. Xerxes might win a poll in the inside forward position. So we are literally talking about the striker. The striker. That is the conversation here. Mount is unlikely to start. Minute management. Yeah, how much has he played? He's not had a lot of minutes yet, has he? I don't know. I could see him having a 60-minute. I think it's a little bit unlikely. I don't think he will start. I'd love him to. I don't think he will. I would say it's maybe one too soon. This time next week, it might be a different conversation. I'd like to see him at some point tonight, though. From the bench, perhaps. Is he ready? How much did he play the other day against City? Was it... I'm trying to remember when he came on. Was that a good 20, 25 minutes, or was it less than that? Because if he got 25 under him, he would have been doing, a lot of training recently. Pardon me. He will be getting there physically. He will be close. He's been on the grass for a bit now. Why is there 12 players on the pitch? There's actually 13, mate. Because we're having a conversation at the moment of who should play in that front line. Hoyland is dominating the poll up front. I was not expecting that to be quite as one-sided. Going for Hoyland because he's sharp and he's a fast striker. We need Hoyland to push their backline back and open up the space. Yeah, that was a big point that I was trying to make in my video yesterday. I think you can pin them, you can hurt them deeper. That's my opinion. Mount's been training fully for over 3 weeks now. Of course he can start. Yeah, I think he can play. I wouldn't see him getting 90 minutes. That would be mental. But I could see him getting 55 or 60, right? And then coming off. Or maybe you play him for 30 and then start him at the weekend. Maybe that's how you do it. Just to give him that few more days, an extra run out, extra minutes under his belt. He was benched for Leicester, so 4 weeks fit. Mount is ready to start. Yeah, with that logic, I would say we can put Mount in his starting 11 if we want to. In terms of striker, you guys have gone for Erasmus Hoyland, which I think I agree with. For this one. So Hoyland goes up front, which actually makes the polls now a little bit more tricky. Who do you go for? We need 2 of these. So Garnacho, Mount, Eriksen, Xerxes. We can only pick 2 of them for this position here and this position here. And I think this position is so important in the context of this fixture. Because of how Lyon play, again, we spoke about it yesterday. We need good players here. Is he match fit though? No, probably not. But you only get match fit by playing minutes, is the problem. Højlund's European form has been better than his Premier League form, even if the bar is low. Since he joined the club, really, that's been the case. Again, maybe a player being more suited to European intensity than actually pure English football intensity. Garnacho and Xerxes, surely. But there is Mount right there. I tell you what I wouldn't do. I don't think I would play Eriksen, because I wouldn't trust Casemiro and Eriksen. Well, not I wouldn't trust them. I just wouldn't want them together. I would fear for a lack of intensity, for a lack of ground coverage a little bit. You know, I think this is a game where physically we can be the better side. If you suddenly start putting Eriksen in, you weaken your chances there a little bit. So personally, I wouldn't go for Eriksen. And I'm not seeing an awful lot of Eriksen shouts. I'm seeing a lot of Mounts and Xerxes, Garnachos. Anyone but Garnacho, to be honest. He's a threat, but he doesn't ever carry out the threat. The problem is anyone else a threat? That's the problem if you take him out. That is the problem. I'm going to take Eriksen out of the conversation just because I don't think he'll start if Casemiro plays. I don't think both of them will play. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they will. So we've got Mount, Garnacho, Xerxes, which with 3, unless I'm being stupid, I think we can do that in a poll. So we're going to call them ifs, which are inside forwards, okay? You might call them 10s, whatever. So Mount and Garnacho is one option. We could have Mount and Xerxes, or we could have Xerxes and Garnacho. I believe I've done that right. Bish, bash, bosh. Garnacho is a liability, the others aren't assets. Yeah, fair point. Mount and Garnacho, Mount and Xerxes, Xerxes, Garnacho. I think that's correct. Inside forwards. Poll is in the chat now. There it is. Garnacho and Mount, maximum threat and maximum press. Oh, my hay fever's playing up. I can feel it. My nose is twitching. Garnacho super sub. Yeah, it is a good shout for that, to be fair. And that is something I want to look at once we've got our 11 complete. The players that can impact the game from the bench still. If Bruno is deep, we need Garnacho or nobody else will shoot. It's a really good point, to be fair, Steve. It's a really good point. Amorim loves Mount because his favourite player in Sporting was Pedro Gonçalves, and Mount is the player that is the most like him. I think that's a pretty fair comparison. No one else is a threat, but they bring more in other aspects. Mount will link up, etc. That's fair. Would love to give Garnacho another go. Less pressure away than at home anyway. We should see how he fares in Europe. Again, I do like the tactical idea of pinning the opposition back. And runners do that. I had to actually do my job briefly. What? Over an AJ stream? That's crazy behaviour. Have we all gone off Ugarte? Does Europa League not suit him better? Yeah, so basically the way that vote went was we did Bruno 10 or centre mid was the first poll, and Bruno was voted into centre mid. Then we done a straight shootout between Casemiro and Ugarte. And Casemiro had 57% of the votes, I think. I do think, you know, set pieces and things like that come into that massively. Garnacho will start because of his speed. Xerxes for retention and link up. Mount won't because of minutes. Yeah, I understand that. The poll currently has Mount and Xerxes. And I'm just trying to think of the balance of that. You know, let's go with the poll for a second. We take Garnacho out of the team. Keep voting in the poll, guys. Keep voting. Although, actually, it looks pretty done already. I'm just looking at that and thinking about, do we have enough threat? Do we have enough? There's not a winger there. There isn't a winger there. But if you do want a winger, Garnacho has to play. And a lot of people don't want Garnacho in the team. So this is the problem. I'm just thinking, if I did this, I would probably have Mount on the opposite side to Bruno. So at times we can go 3-man midfield into the front two. Garnacho's speed and decent dribbling ability, he does make defences panic. Yeah, and I think that's important. But the poll has spoken. You guys have voted for, if I just click this properly, this starting 11. This starting 11. How do we feel about that. How do we feel about that? You can let me know by predicting the scoreline in the chat. Imagine this 11 starts the game. What will the scoreline be? What will the scoreline be? And if you are a member, you can also predict most of the goal scorers using our emojis. Although, I don't know if there's a Mason Mount one at the moment because he was gone for a long time. But still, get your score predictions in the chat. And I'm going to have a quick look at who we could potentially impact the game with from the bench. Garnacho. Eriksen, his creativity. Ugarte. I feel like his intensity. You know, Matic is slowing down. He's getting tired with 20 minutes to go. We get on this absolute mad lad. This absolute mad lad. Quite like it. Could Garnacho play more like a second striker for his pace and finishing? Yeah, I see the argument for bringing him in for one of Xerxes or Mount. Garnacho is an impact player, not a starter, and he will get game time. He'll definitely play at some point, 100%. We score 0 goals. Who will shoot except Bruno in this 11? Well, if we can get the ball to Højlund, he'll shoot. It's just can we get the ball to him? I don't think people realise how massive the improvement in tactical discipline and decision-making that playing Mount instead of Garnacho would be. It is a game changer, but do we lose something? You can't beat pace in a football match. Runners. I watched the Barcelona game last night. Again, video on the second channel. Linked to the top of the chat. Go have a look. But what they did so well was they just ran off the ball constantly. If you get the chance, watch the game back. There are so few moments where a midfielder had the ball and all the Barcelona forwards were looking at them. Every time one player came towards, someone else went in behind. And that could be anyone. That could be Rafinha came towards the ball and Lewandowski would dart in behind. And he's not exactly pacey, is he? It could be Balde would run in behind and Rafinha would come towards the ball. It was, at times, Rafinha would stretch this way and then Lewandowski would come into the pocket and they would combine like that. It was constant to the ball, away from the ball, to the ball, away from the ball. And the Dortmund defenders were so stuck between people. Do we have enough variation of profiles, I guess, in this 11 to try and bring that? Is the question. See you later, Alex, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day. Have a good day. And hopefully enjoy the game tonight. Dorgu cutbacks will be crucial if Mount plays there. He seems to have been a bit more hesitant to cross over the past few games. Not good. Don't know about Lyon, but United scored 0 goals with that lineup. If you want to find out a little bit about Lyon, I did a video yesterday if you want to check it out. But you don't have to. You don't have to. It's maybe a matter of our ability to counter efficiently. Then good passing is as valuable as running. That's also a fair point, yeah? Same as Liverpool too. So good in making constant runs off the ball. And PSG as well. A joke. So good. So good. Yeah, by the way, guys, like Chad has said in the chat there, please leave a like on the stream. We need to get to 100 likes. That is the minimum aim for every single stream. So please, if you could leave a like, I'd be happy, which is nice. You know, you could make someone happy by just tapping a screen. So why not do it? Why not do it? Højlund not even being a threat is very sad considering he's a striker. Yeah. Let's look at some of these score predictions. 2-1. I'm seeing 1-0 with a goal from Bruno. 0-0. 1-1. 3-1. Yes, please. 5-0. We'll take that. 1-1 with a goal from Bruno. 2-1. Is that a loss? Not sure. 3-1 United win. United 2-0. United 1-0. 1-0. 6-1 says Chad with 6 goals from Højlund. Could happen. 3-0 win. Xerxes and Bruno 2-0. Bruno with a brace and a Xerxes goal would be lovely. No Garnacho as a winger, so 6-1. 3-0 with 2 goals from Dorgu and Bruno. If that one comes off, fair play, mate. Fair play. I'll give you a like, mate. Oh, thank you very much. Very kind of you. Who's excited about Onana versus old Matic more than the actual game? Normally, I'd probably agree. Although this game I'm looking forward to because it's a big one. Imagine Matic scores a 40-yard laser against Onana. Yeah, and then goes and like griddies on him or something. That'd be a sad day, wouldn't it? That'd be a sad, sad day. 2-0. If we're scoring more than 1 goal, either it's a Bruno brace or a defender scores. Feels like that. Matic is going to score, so let's forget the clean sheet. Ooh, I need to give my prediction. I'm going to go for... See you later, Sean, mate. Thanks for joining in. Been lovely to speak to you. Have a good one. Enjoy the match. My scoreline. Callum says 2-0. Euro and Xerxes. I want a Euro goal so badly. Score prediction. United away at Lyon. To Lyon score. The Lyon score in this football match. Matic hitting a gritty. What a sight. Yeah, it's going to happen. Look at my eyes watering. Hay fever and tiredness is getting me right now. Goal scorers. Do Lyon have a goal in them? I think they do. I think Lyon will score one, especially at home. So, 1. Lyon have got 1. How many can United score? Bruno, because... Like, he's just Bruno and he'll score every game. Bruno will score, so it's minimum 1-1. So we've at least got, a draw. Do I back us to win it? Do I see a player there that gives me the vibes of scoring the winner? I do. Garnacho. So 2-1 United, Bruno Fernandes and Garnacho as the goal scorers. That's what I reckon. That is what I reckon. Cheers, AJ. I'm off to the doctors. Catch you next time, mate. Hope everything goes well at the doctors, mate. Hope all is well. Yeah, have a good one. Enjoy the game tonight, my friend. Good job on the stand-up videos, by the way. From the first one, they've improved massively. Thank you so much. It's been so stressful and a lot of work, but we're getting there. I want to make more progress with it where possible. But yeah, I think it's just a bit more engaging with the standing up content, right? It just feels a little bit more, which I quite like. That was the effect we were going for, and I think we have achieved it. Anyway, yeah, I've gone 2-1 United. Most of you guys have predicted a United win. I haven't seen many losses in there, which means Josh isn't in the chat today. Josh, where you at? Get us 100 likes for a boost to AJ's immune system. Please, 100 likes equals minus 100 hay fever or something, I don't know. AJ, can you give us some confidence of this game? I am genuinely scared after how you explained Lyon's attacking play. The way I would give you confidence is watching the second half of that video yesterday, where I then discussed all the ways I think United can hurt Lyon. I think Lyon defensively, unless they switch up the approach, I think they're weak. I think it might be attacks on top. Maybe that. Do United have the better quality of attacker? That's up to you to decide. Are you doing a preview for the Newcastle game, AJ? I will do a stream tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, because we'll be uploading a video in the morning. So it'll be a 1 PM stream tomorrow to discuss this game, but also look ahead to Newcastle. Will I do a video? I'll see. I might do. I'll see what other content comes out of the game tomorrow night. David in the chat with the super chat. David, thank you very much, as always. Guys, that chat should be more green, because David is so generous and does so much for this community. When he drops a super chat like that, I need to see that chat full of love hearts. Show some love to David, guys. He has gotten for 2-0 to Manchester United with goals from Lenny Yoro and Bruno Fernandes. If I could pick 2 goal scorers for this game, Yoro would be in there. Would Bruno? Yeah, I just love seeing Bruno score. It just makes me happy. I just love shouting Bruno when he scores. So I agree. Yes, guys, like Chad said there, also check out my video on the Football Terrace Extra channel. It's a video breaking down Arsenal's pretty darn emphatic win over, who did they play again? Real Madrid. So go check that out. And also, if you could be kind to me in the chat or in the comments, that'd be lovely. Be like, oh my god, this AJ guy is so clever. He knows what he's doing. Wow, amazing. AJ is great. Subscribed. Something like that. And also, we do have a second channel as well called AJ Talks Tactics, linked at the top of the chat, where you can check out analysis of Champions League games, of international football, some different players. Check it out over there. And also, if you haven't already, the obvious one, subscribe to this channel. Please. Please just subscribe, man. Please just subscribe. Anyway, I think apart from that, I'll stop crying for a second and stop plugging. I think apart from that, we are finished for today's video. I think that is everything that we needed to cover. So thank you guys very much for watching. It's not even a video, it's a stream. Thank you very much for watching the stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been a nice one chatting with you guys as always. I think we've come to a pretty strong starting 11. Maybe a tweak or two I would make, but I think it's a pretty good 11. I am quite confident that United will win this game. And of course, tomorrow morning, we will be here on the channel with a video breaking down how United demolished, destroyed, crushed Lyon. Hopefully. That's the dream. That's the dream. Will it happen? I don't know. But we will see. Hopefully United win. But for today, enjoy the rest of your day. There will be a video out this afternoon. So enjoy that video. Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy the football tonight, hopefully. Then enjoy tomorrow's video breaking down the football match. And then tomorrow's stream. And it goes on. Basically, have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good life. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. Is that everything? Have a good AJ and you legends. Thank you very much. I will catch you guys later